Why is it that no matter what, you can never feel RDL? I mean, you tried doing good form, you tried every single method, you tried bracing, you tried everything, but no matter what, they never compare to the majestic hip thrust. Why is it? The answer is, it is normal. Allow me to enlighten you right now, familia. So let's analyze the two movements. They're actually opposite, completely opposite movements. Why? When we do hip thrusts, let's do it together so you can see the movement and you can understand what I mean. Dora the Explorer sort of questions right now. What is the hardest part of the hip thrust? It's actually bringing the barbell up and pausing, right? Rather than just bringing it down. Right? So if you imagine the movement, if you're looking at the movement, the hardest bit, especially when you have a lot of weight, is to lock out at the top, making sure you reach all the way, you pause there, achieve the full range of motion, and then you come back. Obviously, if you're doing a hip thrust, you go all the way down and touch the floor. If we do a cast, we stop the halfway. But the actual hardest part is when we're right at the top, right? Instead, let's have a look at the RDL. If we look at the RDL instead, the hardest part of the movement is when we go down. So when we reach the bottom of the RDLs, that's when it's harder, okay? And then trying to lift it up and reach the top as well. But now that we know this, what's happening inside our body when this happens, when we do these exercises? Now, inside our little muscles, actually big muscles if you have great gains, and if you do my program, you'll have big muscles, big juicy glutes. But what's happening? When we go up, okay, here, what's happening? What are we doing with our glutes? We're squeezing them, right? We're squeezing them to achieve the movement. When instead we go down, okay, with an RDL, our muscle, instead of squeezing, they're doing the opposite. What? They are lengthening here. You see, our glutes are stretching when we go down, which is opposite to when we are squeezing them instead. So from one side with RDLs, we get the muscles lengthening, and one side with the hip thrust, we have the muscle squeezing. I'm trying to explain it like nice and simple so it's easy for everyone to understand. So when we're doing hip thrust, as a matter of fact, any of those exercises that they concentrate the peak of the movement or the squeeze, of course we're gonna feel our glutes more. Why? Because we're contracting them, okay? Feeling wise, what are you gonna feel? You're gonna feel your glutes when you're squeezing your muscles as hard as possible, right? And that's what we're doing, for example, when we're hip thrusting. We're squeezing. So obviously, between a muscle squeezing and relaxing, which one are you gonna feel the most? The squeeze. This is pure feeling though. That's what's important to understand. It doesn't mean that things like RDLs are no good just because you don't feel them as much as your hip thrust, okay? It's just a different type of feeling, okay? One feeling is the squeeze and one feeling is the stretch. It doesn't mean the one is better than the other. Of course, they're equally great exercises and they serve and they work your muscles in different lengths and ways, and it's important to include more. So now that we know this, let's try and identify now all those exercises that work on the squeeze more and those that work on the lengthening more, so that we can just do a mixture. We don't just want to focus on the squeeze or just on the lengthening. We want to do a mixture. This is what a complete workout program will have, and it will ensure that you make bellissimo gains. And if you don't want a headache to figure out what you need to do, because I know that it can be a bit overwhelming, I can do a plan for you so you don't have to worry, and link in bio for this. But let's go and start analyzing some other exercises where they focus on the squeeze and others when they focus on the lengthening. We have this lovely machine, which by the way, I absolutely adore. I do this almost every leg day. It's so good for your glute isolation, okay? But I'm gonna do the movement, and now I want you to do a little exercise with me, okay? Mental exercise. I want you to realize and try and guess what the peak of the movement for this exercise is. Does this belong to the family of the squeezing, or does it belong on the family of the lengthening? Let me just show you. Okay, so let's get into position. Of course, we need to lower this. And how do we know that we need to lower it? Because if I leave it here and I try to do the movement, look, I can't even go properly here. I can't complete even the range of motion. So ideally, we want it nice, right below our hips, okay? So we can go all the way down. So observe this movement. Glute region, what's happening here? Okay, I'm holding and what? Squeezing. So of course, guess what exercise this is going to belong to the squeezing family, okay? These normally you should feel them in terms of sensation more in your glutes because we're focusing on the contraction of the muscles itself. For me, this is the most awkward exercise that you'll ever do. But trust me, because again, it's one of my favorites. It is so good. Like, I don't want to give anything away just in case, because first I want to do it and I want you to guess what it is. Okay, so we're going to have a little here awkward demonstration. Do not make eye contact with anyone. So, hold and come back. Oh, God, it's so good. Every time, even for like one rep, is just amazing. The load is just coming directly on your glutes. That's why I love it. Because, okay, obviously it focuses on the squeeze, but the reason why, let me just get up because I look a bit weird. Like, but it's so good because the load is coming directly on top of your glutes, and it's just, obviously it's on your heels, so you move it. But this is one of the best exercises that I could feel properly. Remember, feel in brackets. Okay, next test from here. Again, watch closely what I'm gonna do. Do you think that this belongs to the stretchy family or the squeezy family? Let's say it this way. This belongs, I'll give you a couple of seconds. It's like a who wants to be a millionaire type of question. But yeah, the answer is correct if you said belongs to the stretchy family. Because what's happening here? Let's analyze why. I'm doing like a weirdo in the air so that you can see, you can see more. Okay, so the hardest part of the movement is when I'm trying, the movement is coming here and then like pushing it away and then it's coming the load towards me. What's happening at this point? My glutes are stretching, okay? That is the peak of the movement, and then we're working hard to then put it back. Does it make sense? Okay, so this is the movement. Our glutes stretch and then we push it back, okay? But we never tend to really squeeze. Even when we come and reach the top, we never squeeze our glutes. They still kind of remain in a kind of like stretch position, but do you know what I mean? So I wanted to show you these different exercises. By the way, if you want me to go into depth about a specific exercise, obviously there is tons of other different exercises, different classifications, we call them. For example, exercises that work on a lateral plane, apart from vertical and horizontal. I don't want you to start getting confused, but at least understand the difference of why exercises like hip thrusts, hyperextensions, and things like, if you ever tried it, if you want me to do a tutorial on the Smith machine, let me know. But this is why you would feel them more, because you're working on that contraction. The peak of the movement is on the contraction, so you'll have more feeling, okay? But feeling does not necessarily only mean that it's better for your glutes. Even it's important to have exercises that work your glute muscles on the lengthened position as well. So things like a lovely leg press, but even things like lunges, squats, etc., etc., all important. I hope you understood this. I'm always going to try and break things down as easy as possible for you, like I do for my clients. And if you want me to teach you everything from A to Z to gain the knowledge, the power, the gains, link down below for one-to-one online coaching from me. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe to show your appreciation towards me and all the effort that I put to teach you these things. And I'll see you next time with another video. Ciao, Fatia.